What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Troubling Tribune. Today we have a very exciting episode. My special guest, David Weiss. We are glad to have him here today. We're going to go ahead and get right into it with the Flat Earth Crash Course. Dave, take it away.
What's up, Skylar? Earth is flat. Everything that we see proves that it's flat, non-moving. Well, where do you want to go? I mean, imagine if you knew nothing about this world, absolutely nothing. Boom, first day on Earth, and you have to figure everything out. Would you ever think we're on a spinning ball, spinning and corkscrewing through space? There's no way that would come, and that has to be indoctrinated, and beaten into your brain over a lifetime.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say that if I just looked around, I would come to that conclusion that we're whirling through space. But I mean, isn't there all kinds of like mathematics and stuff that make it work?
There's math for everything. As Jaron always says, you can have the architectural plans for an amusement park on an island, and the clearances, the tolerances, everything, what type of steel, what type of footings, every measurement, speeds, everything. Doesn't mean it's real. Math is just used to describe things. But when you really get down to it, the math proves everything they tell us about the heliocentric system is a lie. I mean, for example, here's the sun at 120,000 feet. Is that at 120,000 feet also? This is a balloon at 120,000 feet. Kind of looks like the sun isn't much higher. And or is it 93 million miles away, which nobody could even fathom that distance, right? And then they tell us, Polaris is 48 times bigger than our sun, but it's like 20 million times farther than our sun. The number is just ridiculous. Well, how the heck could we possibly see it? I mean, if we put the sun 8 times the distance away, a light hour, you couldn't see it. But let's make it 24 times the distance. 24 times 8, whatever, so 200 times farther. That's a light day. If the sun was 200 times farther than they tell us, that's one light day. And it's provable to any working mind that you couldn't see it. Well, at one light day away, Polaris is 48 times bigger. At 48 light days away, you couldn't see Polaris. And you know how far they tell us Polaris is, right?
Not off the top of my head.
It's 433 light years away. Okay, not a light day away, not 10 light days away, not a year, 10 years, 100 years, 200, 433 light years away. It's all made up, absolute, total nonsense. And the thing is, we're just told this by people that, were put in front of us as the teachers, as the professors, as the educators, and we just have to believe it. But once you actually start looking and thinking, but they don't teach you how to use your working mind in school. They just tell you, these things, and you're like, well, I can't figure that out. That guy's got a PhD and a bow tie, okay? And therefore, it has to be real. So that's, it's when you say, doesn't the math prove the globe? Absolutely not. I mean, it does not. It disproves the globe, if anything.
Gotcha. I mean, well, Dave, I'm sure you get asked this all the time, but this is obviously like a huge conspiracy. A great question I want to ask is like, how did you get started in the flat Earth?
Kicking and screaming like a child being dragged into a alligator pond. Okay. I mean, I didn't want to look at this. It's the dumbest thing ever. Of course, the Earth is a globe spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, orbiting at 66,000 miles an hour, and chasing the sun at 500,000 miles an hour. And we never notice it just because it's so big. And, the stars never move because of parallax because they're so far. Of course, right? What else could those little tiny lights that are all the same size that never change be? What else could they be? Okay. Other than giant suns of all different sizes, but they all appear the same size. Okay? Of course we're spinning, but lakes lay perfectly calm and flat and don't move, right? So when I was, pitched, hey, Earth is flat, I was like, you're an idiot. And I refused to look. And then somebody who I trust very much says, Dave, I think the Earth is flat. And I'm like, not you too. And they gave me some videos. Now, hey, some YouTube videos. What is that? Where I learned where the Earth is flat? Well, YouTube was a very useful place because you can post anything on there, garbage and real and nonsense and great stuff, right? So you have to sort it out. It's like life. Life gives you everything. You have to sort out what's legitimate or not. Who's good, who's bad. And I went in with the purpose, not an open mind, not a scientific view, I guess a scientific view, but with the intention of debunking flat Earth and proving the globe. That's what I went in. I should have gone in and gone, let me see which one is true. That's the real scientific mind, right? Let me see which one holds up to scrutiny. But I went in with a bias, and that's how you become a flat earther. Because if you literally try to prove the globe, you end up as a flat earther. Flat earthers, and I say this with high confidence, know far more about the globe than any glober, because if they knew half of what we know about the globe story, they would be flat earthers. Because the globe story is the dumbest thing ever. It's the dumbest thing ever.
Absolutely. I'm trying to keep it pretty neutral. A lot of my audience already knows that I am a flat earther, but my channel does aim to kind of bridge the gap for those who are just kind of discovering some of this information. So I love that graphic that you have behind you of all the different
Right.
motion vectors.
All of these planets, the sun is going in a curved trajectory at almost 500,000 miles an hour, and somehow all of the planets are all on the same plane, right? They're not going like this around like a neutron or something. They're all on the same plane, right? They don't vary off of that ecliptic plane. Well, why is that? That's because in reality we're on the basement, and there are all of those luminaries, not planets, are circling above us. And here's the thing: for those of you that think Skylar's crazy, right, for thinking the Earth is flat, I offer 3 Bitcoins for one globe proof, just one globe proof, and all you got to do is either take my Flat Earth crash course on my website, flatearthdave.com, or on my app, you can take the Flat Earth app challenge, which is every day there's a new video. Watch the new video, the featured video every day for 2 weeks, and at the end of that 2 weeks, you too will know that the Earth is not a spinning ball. But if you think the Earth is flat, send me a proof and you win 3 Bitcoins. How's that? Here we go. I was just trying to pull up the app just to show you. On the app, which you don't have, there's a featured video every day right here. The app's $3, everybody. Okay, I'm trying to grift you for $3. Basically, what the app does, one of the greatest things it does is it saves you from Googling. Because if you Google, you're going to get fed state-run propaganda. You're going to get nonsense. You're not going to find any of the real stuff. So every day there's a new video right here. Click it, and after 2 weeks, you'll be a flat earther. But if you're not, you can hit the frequently asked questions button, and up come all of the frequently asked questions. Let it load. I just loaded the app. It's going to take a second. And all of those frequently asked questions are answered in this section. And it does a whole bunch of other stuff, like the friend finder, which shows you where other flat earthers are around you, and does all sorts of stuff. You can reach out, you can message them, you can send out group messages. I have a little bad connection here. So
Very
there,
stylish, stylish green screen there for the phone.
Yeah, the app doesn't blink like that, but let's see if it goes better now. There we go. There you go. So those are just the flat earthers that are around me. Kind of crazy, right?
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's nothing, man. The app has over 300,000 downloads. There's over 75,000 people on the friend finder, and we're about to launch a new messaging system, which is phenomenal. It's going to have voice calling and video calling. Let's see if I can show it. You know what? It's not going to work today. All right. Well, I don't know. I have to reboot or something. Something happened.
Got the chats up.
Yeah, there's the chat, but I don't want to blink out. Hold on a second. Let's give it a quick little test. You up for that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Um, okay. So let me just go here, and there's also a little delay. So on the chat, you can go to group, right? Oh, why is it doing that? Hold on a second. Let's see if it's going to work. And I created a group here. Anyone can create a group, and I'll open it up, and I'll say, let's join that group on a video call, and I'll jump in, and you know what? Of course, it won't because I'm plugged in. It won't allow me to use the camera. But I just told a couple other people that are testing it, and then they can jump in on a video call. So multiple people can go in, and they could all talk, and you could film things together. Everybody could look at the moon from different locations, all sorts of stuff. Pretty cool.
Absolutely. It's $3 very well spent.
Yeah. To just to be 100% open, the if you want to be able to send and receive messages, you have to subscribe. That's $11 a year. Okay, that's because without that, the app actually cost me more than $3 per user. So if you want to use some of the higher features, it's that. But for all the other stuff I told you, 98% of the app does not require the subscription. And just start there. But the thing is, you'll want to start reaching out and finding those blue dots around you because you're going to lose half of your friends. You're going to lose half of your friends because, people aren't going to get it. People aren't going to get it. Some will, some won't. Some will come around later. But, things shift.
Absolutely. I think that that app is just so useful because, like you said, the business owners, they only want to hire flat earthers.
Yes.
And those are the people who can really think outside the box. So I totally get it. Definitely going to have to pick me up that app. Thanks for calling me out.
Well, I assume that everybody has it because it is literally the best tool to train yourself to find information yourself. It's the best tool to wake up when you're trying to wake somebody else up because you can pull up all the images, you can pull up videos, you can answer questions. There's so much content on there, and people love it. So for waking up other people, it's the best. For training yourself, people just say it's worth it just for the daily video. They get up in the morning, they're like, oh, what's the daily video today? And then the videos that follow the daily video are not Google suggestions. They come from this side, right? So we're bypassing the Google algorithm. That there alone, people go, well, I'm not paying $3 for that. I could just go on YouTube. You can't find these videos on YouTube. And, and if you're like, okay, let me research flat Earth. Let me see what videos I can find. I'd say in 500 hours, that's a lot of time. You'll probably find 2 hours worth of good content. Okay, so if your 498 hours of wasted time is not worth $3, I think there's something else going on in your life that you might want to focus on instead. Okay,
it's like, man, I hate to see what you do for a living, right?
But hate to see what I do. You're seeing it right now. This is it.
No, I'm talking about the people who
the other person, right?
Don't have the $3.
And by the way, I never thought this is what I'd be doing for a living. But you have to make a living, right? So, like, whatever your job is, I don't go, oh, what do you do that for money? What's wrong with you, right? You do it because you have to make a living. Hopefully, in your job, it's something that you love that brings goodness to the world. Not everybody can say that. I'd say the majority of people can't. They were like, my job just pays my bills, But sometimes, like whatever it is, if it's making somebody else happy for some good reason, it's doing some good, that's awesome. And if you have a job that literally isn't doing that, but you're not hurting anybody, that's okay too. We have to survive in this Rockefeller money system. But my point is I've never worked harder in my life. Like my developer is in India, So there's no sleeping. And flat earthers don't sleep either, right? Because we're always like, I need them to learn more. I want to learn more. There's so much cool stuff. So I haven't slept in 3 years, I don't think.
Yeah, I can definitely, I can personally attest that you definitely don't do this for the money. I've heard you talk about your previous career in solar, and I happen to know a little bit about how much money there is to be made in that. So the fact that you walked away from that was a big indicator to me that this is not something that you're simply doing for the money. Because if it was, you wouldn't be doing this. You would be, you would still be peddling the solar. Or even you can even push the globe nowadays thanks to us flat earthers. We've actually created a whole market for them.
Right. And with the rising costs of electricity, solar is taking off. Solar is actually, in depends on where you are, is really worth it with high electric prices. So I live in the Northeast where we have temperate temperatures and high electricity prices. That's good for buying solar because it makes it pay for itself faster. I mean, if electricity is really cheap, it's an offset of paying that electricity that pays for the solar. So in the Northeast, it was good. Now it's insane. The paybacks are probably so fast on it. But again, I'm not in the solar business anymore. I'm in the unplugging from the matrix business. Okay. I'm unplugging people from the heliocentric prison for your mind. How long have you been unplugged from the globe?
Well, I think I've been fully unplugged from the globe about 2015 or so.
Okay, so you're there. You've been around. So you remember at the beginning, you go to somebody, hey, the earth is flat, and they're like, you're an idiot. You get laughed at, pointed at. Now you mention flat earth to somebody, they're like, all right, wait a minute. I've been hearing something about this. I got a question. So boom, the dialogue has started, right? A lot of the heavy work has been done, and you've been here since the real kickoff started.
Yeah, I've been grifting for your app too, even though I don't have it. It's pretty funny. I personally have actually been getting by off of TrueSmacks. Thank
Nice.
goodness I had some resource to go to bypass those nasty algorithms. Speaking of, that also is why I'm moving my show over to Rockfin
Oh,
because
sweet.
even though I do enjoy YouTube, and I've been a watcher of YouTube for many, many, many years, the censorship has just gotten completely unreal, and they don't, really help you all that much. They don't promote things that they don't like. So it's really good to have a platform that you can actually put your stuff out there and be appreciated.
Nice. Just sending a quick message. Somebody was going to jump on. All right, no problem. I'm back. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Yeah. So here's my suggestion though about Rockfin. Rockfin's great. 98% of the people there know the earth is flat, in my opinion. Maybe a little less. Take a little clip of your show, the YouTube safe part, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, and throw it on YouTube and say to see the rest, come over to Rockfin. Right? Because we want to reach, we don't want to go into our own corner where we're all there preaching to each other and we all know. We want to find normies. Guess where normies are? They don't even know Rockfin, BitChute, Odyssey. They're like, if you go to a normie and go, what's Rockfin, BitChute, Odyssey, Rumble? They're like, I don't know, man. I don't know. They don't know. Where do you post videos online? YouTube. Where else? I mean, so that's where the normies are. So that's where we go. That's why, I still post stuff on Facebook. That's where the normies are. Right?
Amen. Someone has to do the good work, so I definitely, we all appreciate you going out there and putting yourself in the fight. That's for sure.
Are you coming to Flattoberfest next week?
I actually another strike, right? 2 strikes.
No, it's all right. That's a tough thing to get to for some people. I don't know where you are.
I'm down in Florida, and it's definitely something that I would like to go to. It's just I have 2 kids and a lot going on, so I'm not going to be able to make it this year.
Bring the kids. Bring the kids. Are they Globies?
No way.
All right. Well, that's good.
No way. But they're still really, really young. And really, it's just I'm trying to juggle this and my work. I actually do water sales for a living. So that's how I knew so much about the solars, because those 2 businesses often go side by side.
All right. I get it. Life has a lot of demands.
Absolutely. But I definitely would love to go, and I recommend that people who can go definitely go check it out. And one thing I will definitely be checking out is the True Earth Mount Meru Summit. That is going to be an excellent time.
The VIP tickets are already sold out, but there's plenty of regular tickets. So check it out. And you can use FE Dave 50 for 50% off, or any other promoter that out there that has a code, use their code. Whoever you want to support, use their code. No big deal. It's gonna be a great concert. We got Eddie Bravo, we got Peggy Hall. Well, I was gonna say Peggy Leeds, Peggy Hall, and so many other people. It's gonna be phenomenal. David Avocado Wolf. It's gonna be a whole. It's not just gonna be Flat Earth, but every presenter is gonna be speaking with their feet firmly planted on a flat, non-rotating Earth perspective.
It's definitely a good thing that it's a digital summit, because Owen Benjamin's stand-up is liable to be so funny that I pee my pants, and that'd just be terrible to do in public.
He's going to be warmed up by Alex Stein, okay? And we don't know. That's the crazy thing. We don't know what Alex Stein's going to do. We have no idea. No idea. And then Owen's going to follow Alex, and Alex is going to be like, all right, Owen's following me. I have to do something crazy, right? You know the story of Alex Stein, right? Where he kind of started calling into Monday Night Raw with Jaron and I, and just a random guy. And then every week it was kind of annoying. And then Jaron's like, "Hey, I invited this guy on." I'm like, "Who?" And then he ended up doing a show with us, and then all of this stuff. And then when he started doing crazy stuff out there, which is awesome. It's his what does he call it? Culture jamming. He would call us up and go, "Hey, what do you think about the idea if I," and then he would lay something out. And I'm like, this would be in a group text, and I text Jaron on the side. I'm like, don't say anything or he'll do it. Don't say anything, or he'll do, or he'll ask a question. He goes, "Do you think I'll get arrested if," and then like before we could even answer, he goes, "Here's the video." And he sends the video. So that's the thing I'm nervous about. I'm not even nervous about my presentation with Caleb. I'm nervous about what Alex Stein's going to do.
Oh, yeah. I'm actually following a little bit of his method. I've started calling in on the speaker's corner over on Jaronism. I actually followed Alex Stein from when he started calling in and stuff. So I saw when he had like no subscribers, and then I watched as he jumped to like 5,000, and then he kind of leveled off for a little bit. And then he did that culture jamming over at City Hall, and went viral, started blowing up.
Now he's at like a couple 100,000.
Yeah, he's at like 220,000.
Nice. Good for him. Alex is, a lot of people have a lot of things to say about Alex. Alex is crazy. He's the first to admit it. Alex wants to be out there and be big, but he is a flat earther, a moon denier, and he will bring that up when the time, is right. He also brought it up on Tim Pool's show recently about the moon landing. So anyone that thinks that Alex is a shill is incorrect.
They just don't know how to play the game.
Yeah, Alex knows how to play the game, and he's having fun and making a living out of it. So good for him. What would you rather have him selling cars?
No, I think his talents are much better realized doing what he's doing.
Right.
I was actually blowed that I missed him when he was down here in Florida, and then they turned it into a Nazi rally.
Right. All right, back to Flat Earth. What are we? Where are we going?
All right, so I promised my audience that if they put a comment in the video that I posted on TikTok, that I would ask it live if it wasn't a troll question.
I like troll questions.
Okay, well, we only got one question from it, so I had 500 people watched it, but nobody had a question for you. So it's sad. It's probably because you've done such great work out here that everybody already knows all the answers and that the Earth is truly flat and stationary.
Sure.
But there was one person who had their doubts. I can't remember their name. I'd have to pull it up. But essentially, they've coined this radar question, which is simply this. If the Earth is flat, then what is causing the radar shadow, which is basically when you can't see an object because it's low on the horizon? They're assuming that it's due to Earth curve. I'm curious as to what your answer would be.
So radar, sound, light, they're all energy waves going outwards. And when, if you and I are 2 feet from each other talking, I'd say back up a couple feet, you can hear me. But if you were a mile away, you can't hear me because my sound just spreads out and spreads out and spreads out. Same thing with light. Light spreads out and gets weaker and weaker and weaker to the point where you can't see it. And with my sun fade out video, and then I'll get to the radar. Let me just show you the sun fade out. Where is it? Here it is. 1 second. So this is the sun was way up, and it was just coming down, down, down in 5 minutes time. It should just keep going down if we were spinning, but this isn't about spinning. It stopped right here. It sat here and it's moving away and it's taking its light with it. Okay. Now this is the clearest of days, but the sun can't push the sun, the brightest light there is, can't push all the way through, and it just fades away. So that's where that distance right there, the sun, we can't see it anymore. It's still lighting up the sky, which we can see. It's nighttime down here. This is up from a drone. So the same thing is true with radar. Radar goes out and it just can only go so far. And then they call that what was the term? The window or
radar shadow?
Radar shadow. And that's where it just doesn't come back. You mean where there's a bounce back, right? Is there a bounce back?
That's how they always have to have a bounce back in order to measure the signal. So yeah, essentially there's a part where they're not getting a bounce back, and that they're claiming that this is like lower to the horizon and that things higher up on the horizon can still get the bounce.
If you're higher up, maybe they're, excuse me, they're aiming down and they're getting a bounce off of a small hill, a house, something, or, you can get a bounce back off of anything. The earth isn't perfectly smooth. I'd like to see that bounce back over like the Great Salt Flats or something, the Bolivian salt flats. I think it would be very telling right there. But it's the same thing. Energy can only go so far, and come back. Like when they send the laser to the moon, supposedly, 150 quadrillion photons go up and they catch one. And then the computer goes bing. Okay. And so that proves there's lasers bouncing off the moon. No, it doesn't. It proves that you'll believe anything you're told.
But Dave, what about all the pictures, all the satellites?
Pictures of Earth?
Yeah.
Like this one here, right? This one here. If we look at the shape of the continents. This is about what we have. So all of this is hidden on the side beyond this rim and the other side. All of this other land is hidden on the other side of the Earth. I don't think so. All right. And then, we get a picture like this, both from NASA. Well, what happened here? This is just this close in. This is a fisheye lens. Okay. NASA wants us to believe that this is from the space shuttle and this is the Earth. Well, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, it makes perfect sense if you use your mind, right? And then, then we look at measuring. People say, well, when you're closer to the Earth, you're not seeing the full thing, and there's a lot on the sides hidden. Okay, so here is Mexico and Baja, and we could actually drive this and take a boat, and we could actually accurately measure it, and it's 934 miles. Well, the diameter of the Earth, a straight line through the Earth, would be 7,917. So 8.5 of these would have to fit. 8.5 of these lines would have to fit in between here. 8.5. They don't even fit on this page. Okay, so this is another painting, right?
Yeah, right? Something's definitely not adding up with those distances there.
Another one, remember, now this was on the other side of the Earth now. Well, now we're looking at the back side of the Earth here, and the rest of this is on the other side. Makes no sense. Makes no sense whatsoever. And
it does if you don't think about it too much.
Well, yes. I mean, of course, that's the way of the world. All right. And people go, well, they couldn't paint that, and I say, well, do you think that you could paint this like with all of these shadows and everything? Do you think somebody could accurately paint that?
That'd be really impressive to see.
What would be harder to paint, this or this?
Oh, definitely the blue marble for sure would
That would be
be.
harder.
Oh no, backwards. That would be easier to paint.
Yeah, well,
If I had to
this is a
paint one,
painting. This is a painting. Okay, it actually is a painting. It's called a hyper realistic painting, and the artist painted this. And this is not a photograph. This is painted without a computer, without Photoshop. It's painted. Look at it. Amazing.
my goodness.
Yeah. And then when it comes to the Earth, which Earth do you like? These are all from NASA. Which one do you like? I like the blue marble. I'm a blue marble guy.
I like the one right below it. It looks the more
3D. Because we have this Terminator line, this shadow, right? The shadow line. Amazing. Right. And these are supposedly taken by satellites, right? And all of these satellites are, whoops, where'd I go? All these satellites are falling around the Earth, right? So we got the Earth, and it's spinning, it's orbiting, and it's flying through space. And we have satellites that are falling around the Earth at the same rate as curvature, right? So a satellite falls, and it just falls and falls, and gravity's holding it around, and it does this perpetual thing, okay? And all of these mimic it. Some of them are orbiting. Some of them stay over the same piece of land the whole time. So while the Earth is spinning, orbiting, and rocketing, that one satellite falling around the Earth is mirroring all of those motions. The reason you can't figure it out is because it's retarded, all right? It's impossible. It's ridiculous. None of that is possibly even true.
Would you say that people who believe in that are mentally retarded?
Retarded, yes, that's the word. The DART mission. The DART mission.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Speaking of the DART mission, you got this is a satellite truck transmitting just across a city. It needs this giant truck, this giant thing, high voltage, right? But on the moon, on the DART mission, they're transmitting back beautiful high-res images with a friggin' umbrella. Okay? It literally is an umbrella. It's an umbrella.
The tinfoil enhances the signal.
Right. And the people say, well, what about communications? 98% of our communications are done with undersea cables, right? Which actually prove the Earth is flat because there's no cables from Santiago to Australia. They go all the way up and all the way around. Look at that on a flat Earth map. It makes perfect sense. On a globe map, it makes no sense. Why would they do that? Right?
That's interesting.
Any images of satellites from space are all cartoons. You can't find a single photo of a satellite in space. Why is that? Right?
They got a great CGI program.
They certainly do. And then the Himawari 8, everyone's like, what about the Himawari 8? The Japanese, they wouldn't lie to us. They give us a picture with weather every 10 minutes, right? Well, all they're doing is taking computerized models of the clouds, real time, radar, and using computers to wrap it around a globe, right? You saw that we found a couple years ago. We found this server, a NASA FTP server. It had tens of thousands of folders that had all of the images. Every 10 minutes, there's another image, right? And folders by day or by week, I forget what it was. And so here's the radar. Here's the heat map of the world, and then they wrap it around. They get their weather data and they wrap it around a blue marble. Okay, so they wrap it around, and so notice these clouds here. This is directly from their server, right? So here's the file that we found, right? It had this in it, and then they add a Terminator line, right? And they wrap it on a ball, and so if this was a real photo, how did they see the clouds that were over here if it was nighttime? We show all of the clouds in one photo, but the next one, the one that they give to the public, um, it how could we see in the dark? Right? Here it is. This is the photo we found, and this is the picture they gave us. Watch the clouds here. They don't change at all. They don't change at all. And this is what they showed us. This is how they built it in Photoshop. And this is what's happening every 10 minutes. Every 10 minutes, this is happening. Right?
What about the people who would say, well, it's too difficult to, um, they're pulling real data, sure, but they have to. It's Photoshop because it has to be, right? They're just enhancing certain things and making it so that we can see it better, right?
Wrong, of course. You're. um, the other thing is, if you take a look at those photos close, zoom in on them, there's stitched lines, right? Where they're stitching all of the data together. There's little thin purple stitch lines. Okay. It's the people that claim, oh, the satellite photos are real and Elon sent his Tesla into space. Did you look? Did you look at the videos? Did you watch the nonsense? And they're like, no, I heard it on the news. I saw it, here. They don't look. And if they do, they saw literally a news clip that had edit, and they don't show you anything. Say little clip, and it's boom, it's gone. So,
didn't Elon himself say that you could tell it's real because it looks so fake?
Yeah, that's what he said about the car in this press conference. You can tell it's real because it looks so fake. We'd have better CGI.
Dang.
You can't make this stuff up.
So I'm not really sure what more people who still believe in this want from us. It seems like it's all laid out and like it's pretty easy to see. Let me see if I can think of one more here. Maybe I can stump you, although I doubt it. You've been doing this a while.
I don't have all the answers. It's just there's so much fakery. It's really easy to expose.
I guess that would be my another great question would be, why do you think the lie? Why would they lie about the shape of the earth? How does that benefit them?
So the elite, the powers that want to be, it's all about control, right? If you think you live on a spinning ball, you're more, which is limited in resources, and you believe in it's that it's overpopulated. We're running out of fuel, global warming, and you don't know that there's other options out there. And that's one thing, right? In my opinion, they're hiding more land and they're hiding the creator, right? There are no flat earthers out there. I don't think there's any that don't realize there is a creator. Now, what your story is on who the creator is, how it all happened, and what your relationship is, that's your own business, right? But we all know we live in an intelligently designed world. And once you realize that, and you're not spinning out of control, lost in space, you can take your power back. So it's all about depowering us, letting the elite have control over us. Nobody has control over you. The only control they have is in your imagination, right? Because we have God-given free will, and we only have the ability to give it away willingly. And they've convinced us to really do that. They don't want us living to our true potential, because if we did, we'd challenge their authority over us, right? If people were educated and they realized who they were, what this place was, what opportunities there are, realize that, hey, there's free energy everywhere. We don't need to pay for heat, air conditioning, fuel for our cars, right? Would that free you up a little bit? Right? Sure would. Sure would. So they keep us under control by having us in the heliocentric prison, the matrix for your mind. They control us with their fake fiat money. Okay. And they, literally it's monopoly money. They control us with fake money that we all have to work for. And we all do it. We need money to operate in the system. But the only way to free ourselves is to stop using their money, use our own money, right? Stop using their money and stop playing in their playing field, which is the ball, and get your feet planted on the flat Earth. We don't know what's beyond Antarctica, but we sure want to know, and we want the freedom to go out there and look. What if there's more land, extra territory, extraterrestrials from the extra terra in the outer space beyond Antarctica, right? I think there's more land out there. Can't prove it. Lots of stories, lots of evidence. Makes a lot of sense, scientifically possible versus scientifically impossible in a godless, expanding, infinite universe. Okay? Impossible. The stars that we see, impossible to see under the explanation that they gave us. Why are all the stars, like Betelgeuse is like 1,000 times or 1,000,000 times bigger than our sun, and then Antares is like 1,000,000 times bigger than Betelgeuse? Why are they all the same size when we look at the sky? How come we don't see stars as big as the moon and the sun, which happen to look like they're the same size because they are? Why don't we see tiny stars and big stars? Yeah, there's slight little differences in brightnesses on some of the stars, but we should be seeing all different sizes of stars. Makes no sense. In reality, at all the sizes that they give us and all the distances they give us, we should see 0 stars. When you take the inverse square law of light and you take perspective and angular size, the resolution limits of our eyes, you shouldn't see anything in heliocentric, ridiculous space.
Yeah, that definitely. I mean, when you break it down how it is with the sun, I mean, that makes total sense. Everybody, you should know that you can't see a light forever.
Right.
That should be painfully obvious. So this idea that we can see these suns, quadrillions of miles away, just doesn't really seem realistic.
Right.
Well, there wasn't, I wish there was more questions, but nobody really had them for you. So I asked the one that I had. The rest of it's pretty much, stuff that we really already know for the most part. I'm trying to think if there's any other good points to go over for the people who don't know that much about flat Earth. If that'd be a great question for you. If you had the best proof that you have, to refute the globe and to affirm the flat Earth to make somebody a believer, what would you say?
Just go outside and look around. stand next to a calm lake and imagine the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, orbiting at 66,600 miles an hour. Wonder why it's that number. Chasing the sun at 500,000 miles per hour, but you don't feel any of these motions. Well, the Earth is already, you don't feel it in an airplane. Yeah, we'll have that airplane remove the outer cover, double the speed, and dive down at a mile per minute. Okay, that would be equivalent to just the spin of the Earth. Okay, let alone those other motions which you can't even fathom. So I say, what got me was ships over the horizon. Right, when we see boats disappear over the horizon, that I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't work. There has to be a physical horizon on the Earth, right? There has to be a physical horizon. And then I started seeing like images like this, 123 miles, you could see this mountain, right? This is with infrared. This is by J. Tola Media, right? There should be over 7,000 feet of curvature, okay? You shouldn't be able to see this entire mountain. Maybe the very tip, but you can see the entire thing. But take off the infrared, can't see any of the mountain. Can't see it. Must be curvature, right? Okay. We can only see so far. Our atmosphere becomes opaque over distance. And the other thing is with boats over the horizon, when you zoom in, there's no boat out here. But as I zoom in, I'm increasing the angular size. And as I increase the angular size, all of a sudden you see, oh, look, there is a boat there. I just couldn't see it with my little weak eyes, right? And then these little waves in the foreground will block this boat. My finger is going to block this whole boat. Doesn't look like it could, but look, now it can. Blocked, right? So these little waves in the foreground are hiding the boat that gets smaller and smaller. And then you think this is a horizon on a ball? No, it's not. It's an optical horizon. Optical horizon. right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that makes sense to me. I still haven't heard. I think all the Globers at this point have had to acknowledge that the horizon is optical, thanks to FED's Black Swan.
Yep. the the there's so many, there on the app. There's a pay on the web page. You go down to there's Flat Earth Experiments, and there's some great videos on there. All the work has been done for you. Again, they're on YouTube. Watch the experiment yourself. Look what they did. Go out and reproduce it. Okay, these are all things that we can reproduce. But the only thing that Globers have for proof of the globe is something lights in the sky that they make wild claims over. Oh, well, that star is over there and that star is over there, and the angle. Well, what's the star? Prove the distance, prove the size. They can't, right? They just assume, oh, Venus is the same size as Earth. And when it transited the sun, we did some trigonometry and figured the sun was 93 million miles away. Well, I think Venus is the size of a friggin' beach ball. Okay. I don't know how big it is, and neither does anybody else. I don't know what it is. It doesn't look like a rock like they tell us it is. These are good.
I was going to say, speaking of the sun trig, I actually met a flat earther named Rizwalden over on TikTok who set up an experiment with, I believe, at least 5 different people in different countries, and they triangulated the sun, and it seems that we're able to triangulate a local sun, which would be pretty interesting. So I'm going to have him on my show here next week, hopefully.
That's interesting, but I don't believe we see the sun in the same position. If you and I are looking at the sun from any distance apart, we're seeing it in 2 different positions, because the sun that we see is an apparent sun. What do I mean by that? Okay, so here is here's a little example. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to show you. So here's a sheet, which is I call it my sky sheet, and on the other side, 10 feet away, I have a flashlight. It's actually a square, but it looks like a round. And I said, Paige, I said, where do you see the sun? And she goes, well, I see it right there. So from her point of view, she sees it right there on the sheet, right over there, and I see it over here. How do you triangulate something that's in 2 different positions? Like if I put a circle on the sheet right there, that circle's over there, and I look at the same sun over here. Well, we know the distance between us, but we're looking at 2 different things, so it doesn't work. There's a great on the app. There's a great video under sunsets on how you can't triangulate the sun. So you can get some useful data out of it, but I don't believe that we see the sun in the same position from 2 different positions. So triangulating it is, I think, impossible.
Well, I'd definitely be interested to see what he's got then, because that's an interesting take. I definitely think that the sun is very, very difficult to triangulate, to say the least. And I know that the distances that they're telling us can be provably incorrect, and you can prove that with simply using scaling invariance, as Jeranism has pointed out. Half the distance of the sun, half the size, just keep all the scales the same, and all the observations will still check out.
Absolutely. They're making stuff up. The most important star in the sky, Polaris, they're talking about changing. Well, it might not be 300 and how many, or 430 light years away. It might be 330 light years. 100 light years. Okay, you can't fathom a light hour. Okay, and they're changing the distance by 100 light years. Science is right until we're wrong, and then we'll tell you the new story, and then that's right until we're wrong, and don't you question it. Don't you question it. So stupid.
It seems like an awfully large margin of error when it comes to celestial objects.
People can't fathom these numbers. 1 trillion seconds is 31,000 years. 1 trillion seconds is 31,000 years. What happens if I add 1 more 0 to that?
Oh my God.
Okay. Okay. And that would be 13 zeros. right? They say cosmology is off to 10 to the 120th power. I can't fathom 12 zeros, let alone 13. 120 zeros?
So they basically just admit that we're completely wrong.
I don't think a number 10 to the 100, that doesn't even exist. Numbers that big don't exist, right? If you wanted to count out, like you had a trillion pennies and you can count one every second, if you can count one every second, it would take you 31,000 years to count them. 1 trillion. All right? Think about it. If you can count out 100,000 an hour, you're really fast at counting. It would take you 28,000 years.
I mean, I'm not really trying to break my mind.
Well, so
but
that's the
definitely
thing.
what would
That's
happen.
the thing. They didn't teach us to think about big numbers. They didn't teach us to think. They taught us to memorize and regurgitate. And when you do this, people go, "Oh, my brain hurt. My mind hurts." And then they go, "I have to take a break and go watch Netflix." All right. And that's literally what they've done to us. That's what they've done. They make it like, "Oh, that's too much for me to handle." I gotta go watch something mindless to help my brain get back into its state of apathy.
So, in your opinion, would you say that flat Earth is the biggest or the most important conspiracy?
There's a lot out there, but flat Earth is the one that grounds you, the one that you take your power back. Nobody can truly come to their potential living on a spinning ball in their mind. They're lost in space and they're not appreciating the creation. Now they might be doing well and they're like, I have a good relationship with the creator and and making money and they're really happy. And those people are almost impossible to wake up. But when you actually take the time and take the effort and absorb the pain, the process of realizing your whole life's been a lie, there's nothing more fulfilling. It's fantastic, right? And so that's why I love what I do. They say, work, do what you love, and you never work a day in your life. Well, I'm working so friggin' hard at this, but I love it, and it's motivated. It motivates me to keep going. Because when I get letters from people like, I used to mock flat earthers. I thought it was the stupidest thing ever. Holy crap, it's real. It's changed my life. I haven't slept in weeks. That stuff is awesome, right? And now those people can go wake up other people. We have the ability right now to wake up everybody in a really short period of time. If everyone would just go out there and don't do what I do. I mean, it'd be great if you did what I did, but just go out there and wake up one person a week. One person a week, it's over this year. Okay? Right? It's over this year. There's too many of us already. Right? So we have a very small window to wake up the world because right now they're pulling all this stuff that's going on all over the world. The Russian nuclear bombs, and tidal waves. All of that is fake. It's all fake, but people are going to believe it. Okay? They can fake a nuclear bomb. This is how they do it. They blow up something. Then they crank out some antennas that maybe have a way to make people's skin bubble up a little bit. I don't know what that could be. You don't want to say it on YouTube. And then everyone's going to go, oh my God, radiation. Oh my God. And then they're just going to follow whatever the news tells them to do. And they're going to, duct tape their windows and get under their desks and all sorts of stuff. It's all nonsense. It's all fear. Right. And if people would just ignore the government, it would be over. The government would be nothing. The government's only power is in our imagination. That's it.
Amen to that. I completely agree. That was actually one of the big points that I brought up on Jeranism Speaker's Corner was that the thing that I think we all should definitely be doing is reaching out to at least just one other person, because if we all did that, then this whole system would crumble within a generation, and then we can go on with our lives.
And those of you that have my app, right? It's easy to wake people up. Just get them to take the challenge. Tell them, hey, this crazy guy is giving out 3 Bitcoins. That's like 60 grand today. Could be worth more. Could be worth less. Who knows? For one proof of the globe, right? Gift them the app. Get them to get the app. Whatever. $3, right? I'm not buying that app. Hey, who wants a round of shots? Okay, that's $75, right? Gone. Okay. People are nuts, right? and then just have them watch the daily video each day. Have them do some research. And people say, no, there's a lot of people that get the app. They say, I got the app. I canceled my cable. I don't have time for cable. There's too much good stuff on here, right? Cancel cable. I canceled my cable 10 years ago. Best thing ever. And I love watching TV. TV was my life. I love movies. I love television shows. I grew up on Star Trek, Gilligan's Island. All is the best stuff ever. I watched them all multiple times. Lived by the television. Now, television's nonsense.
Yeah, I'll tell you a funny story. It's actually super relevant because the reason why I haven't gotten the app yet is because I told my wife, I was like, I bet you I can get Dave to give me a free one if I grift his app enough. so, so I
Nope,
have
I
been
give them out.
grifting it for you.
I give them out to people all the time, but you're not getting one.
What a jerk. Well, we still love you. I appreciate you coming on and giving us the flat Earth crash course. I don't even know how we're doing on time.
We're
Uh,
getting close to the end, so we should wrap it up.
awesome. Well, yeah, I definitely appreciate you coming on and giving us that rundown. Um, is there any other things you wanted to cover before we wrap this up?
You can find all my channels, everything at flatearthdave.com. One thing to remember, I'm not going to give out a million websites. Flatearthdave.com. You can find Flattoberfest there, which is coming up next weekend, which is October 21, 22, 23 in South Carolina. Highly recommend getting together. The energy there is so phenomenal. 3-day event. Awesome. That could be found at flatearthdave.com. The conference, the virtual conference, flatearthdave.com, the virtual summit. All of my stuff is there. All of my channels there. My app is there. And the crash course is there for free. Just go to the crash course. If you think this is stupid, go watch the crash course. There's like a bunch of movies in there, but watch the first 3 or 4 or 5, and you too will lose the respect of your friends and family because you'll be a flat earther. But it's the train to be on because the train is pulling out of the station, and a lot of big podcasts are now starting to see. Peggy Hall from the Healthy American, she's speaking at there. I don't know if you know who she is, but she's pretty big, and she knows it's that we live on a stationary plane. And Stu Peters, a lot of people like say stuff about him. He's talking flat Earth now. Okay, there's a lot of people, a lot of big podcasts out there, and podcasts that were laughing at it are now realizing they need to address it. Don't believe anything, guys. Dig in, think, use your God-given common senses, use your mind, and then you too will see that the globe is the dumbest thing ever. I mean, let me ask you a question, Skylar. Can you believe that you actually used to believe we live on a spinning ball flying through an infinite space vacuum?
Man, it's really hard to remember how I used to think like that. I compare it a lot to trying to think about life before I knew how to wrestle. I was a state champion, national champion wrestler, and it's just muscle memory. I can't unlearn it, and for me, the flat Earth is the same way. It's just so hard to get all wrapped up in that cognitive dissonance again.
Right. It's once you understand the globe, forget even understanding the flat Earth. Once you understand the globe, you're like ridiculous, dumbest thing ever. We have lots of questions about the flat Earth, like exactly. I mean, we have more questions than we have answers. That's for sure. But one thing we all know is that we don't live on a spinning globe in a space vacuum. That's the dumbest thing ever. None of it makes any sense. And once you understand that, you have nowhere to go other than a level stationary plane, because that's what we are. That's what science proves. So check it out. Take the crash course, get the app, don't get the app, doesn't matter. Just learn. And then once you understand, start spreading the word. All right? Start spreading the word.
Absolutely. Amen to that. Definitely get out there, take that crash course. No need to just be skeptical for no reason. Go ahead and do it yourself. Do your own research, which is what we're doing here. So, Dave, I appreciate you once again. Thank you for coming on and doing this for us. And folks, I appreciate you watching, and we will catch you next time.
All right, man. Thanks.
Awesome, Dave. Thanks again.